What's up everybody, it's CJ, and I'm back with another Barnacle Bay renovation video, and today I'm going to be renovating the Supernatural Hangout. It's called Verg's Tavern, I think that's how you pronounce it, Verg's Tavern. However, I'm going to change the name to Lucky's Tavern, because I feel like the sim that runs this, I feel like his name would be Lucky. Like, it's just giving Lucky vibes. I don't know how to explain it, but when I was renovating it, I'm like, yeah, the sim that owns this name's going to be Lucky. So, it's Lucky's Tavern now, but this is the Supernatural Hangout. Of course, this comes if you have both Supernatural and, like, you know, an EA world pulled up. Basically, the game will just ask you, like, hey, you have other packs installed. Do you want to place down some of these additional lots? It's kind of like the game's way of allowing you to have, like, a fire department in your world, or I guess a Supernatural Hangout in your world, if you don't already have one, you know? So, yeah. So, we're renovating this one today. Also, it kind of is nice that we're doing it now because it is still spooky season, you know? So, kind of good that we're doing it now. But, yeah, this is the Supernatural Hangout, and I'm gonna be honest, y'all, I never come to these. I remember I did maybe like a year ago, maybe for like a stream or something I did, but like I never have my sim come to Supernatural Hangouts. Do y'all ever do that? Like, I guess that's the question of the day. Do you ever have your sims go to Supernatural Hangouts? And or do you ever build any? Because I don't for both of those. The answer to both of those questions, y'all, is no. I feel like when it comes to The Sims 3, there's a lot of lots that I just don't really think about and I don't go to, or I kind of just associate them with other lot types. Like for this, I kind of associate the Supernatural Hangout with a bar lot type. I think of this lot as being like just a place for supernatural sims to hang out, which I mean that's the name of the title, but it's really just that. I don't know if this lot type, maybe it does, I don't know if it like naturally draws in occult sims. It probably does, I don't know, but that's really only it. It's just like a place for them to hang out. So on the inside there'll be like bars and then maybe like a stereo or something like that. So like I knew that when I wanted to renovate this, that I wanted to like use those ideas but kind of like crank it up a notch. I wanted there to be a lot of things for occult sims to do. Not maybe every single last thing, you know, like there's no alchemy station here, but I wanted this to kind of just be like a nice cool hangout spot, and not really just for occult sims. But, I mean, I guess anyone can come here, but, you know, I made this with occult sims in mind, but it doesn't really matter, obviously. One of the first things I knew that I wanted to do is I wanted to add a broom riding arena. So we have, like, this really big parking lot, and I'm like, bro, we gotta fill this up with something. And I was like, CJ, use the broom riding arena. So I used that here, and then if you notice, there's, like, this section, like, this little building, like, I don't know what you would call it. It's, like, a little, like, sheltered section. And I was like, why don't we turn that into, like, a ticket booth? Or, like, a sports betting kind of thing? So, like, I could imagine sims coming here, you know, like on their day off or on the Friday or the weekend. They come to Lucky's Tavern and then they're like, I want to see the broom riding arena. So-and-so is going to be flying tonight and my money is on so-and-so. And I feel like, you know, Lucky eventually got someone to run this little ticket booth over here. So yeah, they play some sports bets on who's going to win, you know, or who's going to lose, that kind of thing. So I wanted this to be like a little makeshift office. So what I did was I put a table, and if you don't know, you can actually slot computers to tables in The Sims 3. So I slotted one to it, and I'm using the move objects cheat to move it into this countertop. In an ideal world, I would have loved for the computers to slot to a countertop, but they don't. So I'm just trying to like move this in like this to kind of look like it is at the countertop, even though it's not really, you know. It's just a little Sims technique I do sometimes. I also put a TV in here. I was really just trying to think of things to put in here that would kind of make sense, but not over clutter it. So we have like sports banners, there's a TV. I put like that little, it's like a memory drive, hard drive kind of thing. I put that down as well. And I thought about putting the camera. I might need to go back and like place down a camcorder. I'd imagine they like to record these and put these on YouTube probably. So I should probably go back and put a camcorder. I didn't really do too much for the outside, really. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. This lot is really not that bad. There's some things obviously that I changed, like stylistic things, but like this lot really wasn't that bad in the grand scheme of things. It did still take me a while to refurnish everything and, you know, and change some stuff out, but it wasn't really that bad. Like I like the shape of the build. I think it's supposed to be like a factory that was converted into like a hangout spot or something like that. So I kind of wanted to keep those same vibes. And also I kind of feel like maybe Lucky inherited this place from Verg. So I kept some of the same things here, like some of the light fixtures I kept. I feel like if anything, Lucky is slowly over time trying to renovate this lot and trying to make it better, but it still has like a lot of the original charm. And I knew that when it came to this build, I wanted to kind of lean more into the Barnacle Bay, like tropical island aesthetic, and not so much like spooky Halloween. Like there's a good mixture of those things, but I didn't really want to just lean just one way or the other. And in my brain, I'm like, well, maybe Lucky can be a mermaid, and then that way when I have like tropical flower wallpaper, you can kind of see what I'm going with it, like it's Barnacle Bay, Lucky is a mermaid that lives in Barnacle Bay. So I was just trying to like have some different vibes in here. I know the other day I did the alchemy shop renovation, and if you didn't see that video, I'll leave it linked down below, but I renovated the alchemy shop that comes with Supernatural, and that one was like full on like spooky Halloween kind of vibes, and I didn't really want this to be that per se. This is more so just like, still spooky, I guess, in a way, but more so like tropical, more like kind of toned down a little bit, if that makes sense. So as you can see, we have that floral wallpaper I was talking about. I knew for a fact, y'all, we had to kind of close off some of the space. It was open, but a little bit too open. One of the first things I wanted to do though is swap out the stairs. I'm using these angled stairs, and these are store content, by the way. I've gotten a comment about these stairs before, like, CJ, are these custom content or no? These are from the Sims 3 store. I do not remember what set they're from. I'll probably put it in the description if I can remember, but these are store content stairs. I like to use these because they come at an angle, and you can't really make angled stairs in the Sims 3 without like using these, or I guess using custom content. I'm also making a little room over here, and this becomes our arcade. So I wanted there to be a lot of things to do here. So we have a stage for karaoke, there's also a stage for like magic and stuff like that. Like I wanted to kind of like have this be the ultimate hangout spot, so that little room becomes the arcade. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So I kind of start off in this little section. So I kind of angled off everything with the floor and stuff. I knew that I wanted to keep the bar, but instead of having the base game bar, I wanted to swap it out for the one from Late Night. That one actually has a bartender that will show up. So I'm using the dive bar from Late Night, and this one has like a sim that will spawn and stuff like that. I also use some of the base game countertops to kind of match in with it, and then behind it I knew that I wanted to also section off this little space a little bit, so I'm using a half wall, and then I'm also using a fence with a gate door just to kind of have like a little access way for the employee. And then behind it I wanted to have still some of the same things that were here originally. So I have a fridge, I have a sink, that kind of thing. I also have like a juice rack where it has like all the bottles and stuff on it as well. I'm using some of the ones that hang from the ceiling that come with Late Night, and I never really used those, so I put those above the countertops. I just think it looks kind of cool over here. I'm also using a lot of fluorescent lights with this build because, like, how can I not, y'all? Like, come on now. I don't really get a chance to use these lights all that often in my like average everyday build. I kind of went a little overboard with this one. I really like the one that has the music notes on it, and it kind of makes sense because right beside where this like bar section is, I put a karaoke stage. So like I put a lot of stages in this build. I kind of got a little carried away, but I wanted there to be like dedicated sections for like a little bit of everything that you can do here. So I have like a karaoke stage, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. I also wanted to kind of use this section over here, so I kind of made this be like a check-in area, maybe if you have like a reservation. I don't really see Sims making reservations here, but we can pretend, maybe, oh, you want to like reserve the karaoke machine for this time slot? Okay, we'll make an appointment. It'll be kind of like that. So we have a little computer desk here. I'm using the same technique with the table and move objects. I'm also trying to like add in some, slight piratey things and Barnacle Bay inspired things. So we have like the steering wheel, there's the pirate flags I put up in here as well. I guess the tropical wallpaper can kind of fit into with the island aesthetic. And then this over here is where I put the karaoke machine. So I was kind of inspired by that base game stereo, and I was like, ooh, instead of using that, let's use a karaoke machine, because this way Sims can actually come and they'll be able to sing. And then I wanted to put it up on a stage because I was like, that kind of makes it feel a little bit more fancier. I feel like it kind of makes the lot look a little bit better too, and a little bit more interesting. So I'm using a platform. I'm also using some half walls, and I use the fence from Barnacle Bay. It's like the rope fence. And then I'm also putting a jukebox down here too, just in case you wanted to listen to music and dance. Looking back, I did not put any wall speakers on this lot, so I may put some. I don't know if I want to, but I may put some wall speakers. But there is a jukebox, so you can dance down here if you want to as well. And then upstairs there's a DJ booth, so you can dance upstairs, downstairs if you want to. I'm also using some of these light fixtures from the Showtime pack, and y'all, I love these. I feel like they're a hidden gem in the Build and Buy catalog. I like to use these because you can use move objects and like stack them on top of each other and have some really interesting looking lights And yeah, it looks really cool. Like, I can't wait for y'all to see it in the screenshots. It just makes the area look so nice, you know? I also put a photo booth down here because, you know, you might need a place to woohoo or take photos, you know, dual purpose. I also included one of those lunar horoscope objects just in case you wanted to know the phase of the moon, for example. And then we have this hallway section over here. Now, at first, I was going to delete those garage doors, but I was like, let's keep them. They're kind of like a big part of the lot, you know, 'cause this lot used to be like a factory. So I kept the garage doors, but I put a foosball table in the hallway because like that hallway leads to the bathrooms. So I put a little foosball table in the middle. I was going to put a pool table, but it wasn't enough room. So I just put a foosball instead. And then right here is me just putting some tables right in front of that stage. Like this just looks so cool to me, y'all. Like I would actually come here in real life. Like I would come here, maybe try to sing karaoke, you know, and it's just like a nice place to hang out, you know, get a drink, play games. There's like something for everyone here, honestly. Speaking of games, this right here is our little mini arcade. Now, admittedly, this might not be the best room, but I didn't have a lot of space and I didn't want to make this room too big. So I tried to just squeeze in as much stuff as I could while having move objects turned off because I wanted to make sure everything would fit and work properly. So I do have a skee ball object. We have whack-a-gnome. I put a couple of arcade cabinets in here, and that's pretty much it, yo. Like I couldn't really fit but too much in here. What I probably would have done if I didn't want to keep that garage door is delete it and have like a wall of arcade cabinets. But I still think it looks nice even without it. Like you can tell like this room was not an arcade originally. You know, this is just like a new made space, so to speak. You know, like Lucky bought some arcade cabinets off the internet and was like, yeah, we're gonna make this into an arcade. We're gonna get some more passive income. So yeah, but it's functional, it should work, and you know, your Sims can go and hang out. It's nice. There's also a dartboard in here as well. I'm so glad too, y'all, that I went over here because I would have forgot to furnish the bathrooms. Like I honestly would have forgot. So for the bathrooms, they kind of look similar. Like I used the same wallpaper that I did for the rest of the building. I also do change the color of the floors in the bathroom as well because, you know, I just wanted something to kind of stand out. So I made them more brown, and then I got rid of the like pedestal sinks and I'm using the cabinets. We have more sinks in here. I'm using these really big like tropical mirrors. I thought they were kind of cool, so I used some of those in here as well. I'm recoloring everything, obviously. And then I thought about keeping the bathroom stalls looking the way they do. They look kind of like industrial, but I didn't really like it too much because I was like, they kind of stand out in a bad way in the bathroom. So I was like, let's just use the default swatch. That'll look nice, you know? There's also some urinals in the men's bathroom. There's like these room divider object things that come with late night, and I was like, bro, I never get a chance to use these. So I was like, why don't I use those? So I think I used like 3 of them, I want to say, just to kind of give you like a little bit of privacy if you want to use the urinal or whatever. The bathroom is still functional, by the way. Your Sims can still get around it. So yeah, I think the bathroom looks kind of nice. And then for the women's bathroom, this bathroom wasn't as big as the other one. So what I did was I just put a plant in the corner, and of course, like I just moved the picture frame over a little bit. So now we go to the upstairs portion. So this is lofted. So instead of using a fence for the railing, I decided to use the half walls. I thought that looked a lot better. So for the upstairs section, I knew that I did not want to have another bar. So because like this lot has 2 bars, or probably like 3 bars. I didn't really want to have 2 on this lot. Like this lot is not that big to have 2 bars. So I was thinking like, what can I do for the upstairs portion to have it be different from downstairs? So for one, I knew that there was like this little nook space over here, and I was like, oh, why don't we put a bubble blowing machine? I don't really use those objects that often when I build, but I knew that I wanted to have one in here because like, how can I not? So I use a bubble blowing machine. I think it only has 3 chairs at it though, instead of 4, because even with move objects on, if I put 4, it says that it could work, but I just feel like it wouldn't be able to work. So I just opted to have 3 of them, and I just pushed one of them against a wall. And then I noticed that we have like these booths. I don't know what they're supposed to be, all. They're like love seats with half walls around them. I don't know what was going on with that, so I got rid of it. And then I added a stage over here. So this to me is supposed to be like a talent stage. So like I could imagine that maybe like every month, or maybe like, you know, annually, the tavern will hold a talent show, and it's open to like anyone in Barnacle Bay, like not just like a cult Sims, just anyone. So I put a couple of instruments up there in case you wanted to have Sims perform, and then I also put like a little magic display because I kind of could imagine like Sims would come here and do magic shows or something like that. Now this stage will not be a Showtime stage or anything like that. This is just kind of like decorative. I kind of left it open to interpretation. You could do whatever you want with it. If you want this to kind of be like a Showtime stage, you'll probably have to make the platform a little bit bigger though. But yeah, just put like some instruments. So we have a keyboard, a bass, and a guitar, and then I just put like a magic backdrop and some magic stuff, you know. I could like imagine a sim maybe trying to come here and practice magic or something like that. Like I'd imagine there's probably like a trophy if a sim were to win, you know? I just thought this looks kind of cool over here. And then I also put some tables around it as well, because I can imagine sims want to sit down and like, you know, have a nice drink and see some magic or see sims perform music or something like that. And then the last stage that I put is a DJ booth. So I wanted to have the DJ booth up on a platform just because it looks a little bit better and looks a little bit fancier and stuff like that. I didn't really know where I wanted to put it. So you'll see that at first I wanted it to be on the back of a wall, but then I didn't like it. And then I wanted it to be like on the other wall, and I was like, I don't like that either. So I used this little like nook space over where the half walls are, and I thought that made a lot more sense because it's not really too much in the way. And I wanted to have a dance floor object down here as well. So I was like, how can I make this all work? So by me putting the DJ booth in this little nook space, I was able to have the dance floor that I wanted. I could have the strobe lights like I want. And then I ended up putting like a supernatural backdrop, you know, like maybe Sims come here and want to take nice pictures or something like that. Or, you know, it could also be nice for screenshots, that kind of thing. And then I also put a cauldron in here, just, you know, just for some little extra magic touch, you know. But in all, y'all, that's pretty much everything for the entire build. If you want to download this, I am going to leave a link down below. Also, please be sure to leave a like, comment something down below. By the way, too, hello to all my new subscribers if you're watching this video. One of my recent world overviews kind of blew up a little bit, so thank you so much for watching it and liking it and stuff like that. If you don't know what world I'm talking about, it's called Sunset Died. It is a post-apocalyptic Sunset Valley world that I came across the other day, so I'll leave a link to that video if you want to watch it down below. But thank y'all so much for liking and watching and stuff like that. I really appreciate it, like I always say. That's all that I have for this video. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to leave a like, comment something down below. Follow me over on Twitch where I stream a lot more The Sims, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Thanks for watching!